Nobody's here right now. So, for replay purposes, thank you for tuning into this. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you hit that thanks button and give me $1,000. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so we're gonna wait for people to get in. There's a lot popping off all over YouTube tonight. Popping off. So I don't know how many will be here. Hey, Deborah. Hello. How are you? There's a lot popping off tonight, Deborah. Hey, have fun. There's a popping off left and right. And then, girl, happy Easter to you, too. Everything is great. I hope all is well with y'all, too. When I finish this, I got to go upstairs and hold the fuck on. What?
Cat's Corner.
Oh, shit. Yes, Terry Meeks. I'm going to be the palate cleanser. Hey, this crank. Yeah. Hey, state of disorder. I hope you're feeling well. My co-host has just barged right in here. Terry, we're just going to do our big juice.
So down.
It is down, isn't it?
These two buttons right here.
Okay. Oh, let's not do that too much.
They're good.
If it makes me look good on camera, then it's enough.
It doesn't change how they see you.
Oh no, the coming on me. Hey, Mama Cannoli. Hey, the light reverberating from my face.
Mm-hmm. I think you look amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, this outfit. Look at her. Look at her.
The bitch cleans up nicely. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So I'm rescuing Terry Meeks. Hey, Suzanne. Suzanne. Grey Gardens. We're doing it. She's been
talking. She already talked about Grey Gardens.
Yeah, all the time.
And then she was like, someone Pam asked if I ever watched Grey Gardens.
Yeah. And I was like
and I was like,
it's great. He's probably gonna poop in my basket, the Easter bunny.
She's not getting me an Easter basket. Everyone cancel her.
Wow.
Everyone cancel her right now.
Wow.
Didn't like the live stream. Call people.
Good state of disorder. Hey, Carrie, my sweet love.
You've been threatened.
Your man is out of town. Uh-oh.
You've gotten in trouble.
Suzanne, do you know Lois? Remember Lois? I know everybody. If you've ever watched Grey Gardens, and you must, there are two of them. There's Grey Gardens, and then there's the Beals of Grey Gardens. And if I'm not mistaken, the Beals of Grey Gardens was some of the excess footage that the Maisels brothers had. But if you've never watched this show, Fish Crank, I never trust the jelly beans. London Girl, I will post. It is on YouTube. And it is, look, this is, wouldn't you, Suzanne, call this a cultural, it's from the 70s. It's a mother and a daughter. And they live at Grey Gardens. And at one time, Grey Gardens was an absolute showpiece, gorgeous mansion in the Hamptons. And it's such a story. I can't even begin. I'm going to put it down here, and y'all just look for that. And you will find a documentary about these two women. They are actually aunt and cousin to Jackie Kennedy and her sister. Yeah. It's just really good. Why, Cats, how are you? You saw the documentary? Oh, yes, they were there. Yeah, they were Jackie Kennedy's aunt and cousin. It's in fact, who was? Well, wait a minute. Somebody I was watching it with said, "Is this real?" I was like, "Yeah, it was you."
No, I knew it was real, but it feels so. It feels so like satire.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very satire.
Big and Little Edie.
Oh, God,
but there was a woman, Lois, who was one of their friends, and actually once documentary was debuted, little Edie would go to wherever the premiere was, right? And Lois would stay, Meech would stay with Big Edie at Grey Gardens. And Lois wrote a book, and I read it. It wasn't a great big book, but it was very informative on how they lived, how they died, shit like that. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. So, yeah, I hope everybody's ready for Easter tomorrow. I again have got when I log off here. I haven't watched it yet, Carrie. I haven't watched it yet. When I log off here, I've got to go upstairs and start doing green beans and deviled eggs. So the whole place is gonna smell like ass.
Yeah,
you're drenched. I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try not to do that. I'm gonna be a good person.
When did that happen?
I'm trying to change my
life.
life.
This like white look you have. You have the earrings and the shirt. I thought you were gonna wear the shirt tomorrow.
No,
you probably will wear it tomorrow. And the bracelets. Look at the. Show
you got the eggs done.
Show the bracelets.
Yeah, I know that. No, all right. Let me show you. All right, she wants me to show you. You want to see? You want to see this? You see this, y'all? I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Temu, but this bitch has.
I love Temu.
All right, so here's one of my Temu bracelets. Hold on. All right, see it? It's magnetized at the back. You're doing a picnic? Oh, that's good though. It's back, so you can just pop it off. All right, now these little things right here. Thank you very much, Terry. These right here are ankle bracelets from Temu because the actual bracelets that are just elasticy are really tight, and I've got small wrists, so these are the ankle bracelets. And see how they flow? This all is not. This is real. And then this ring is Temu. Hold on. There you go. Temu. Everything I have over is probably Temu.
Oh my god! Can I show my Temu rings? Actually,
you should.
I wear these rings. Okay, so her ring is not stainless steel, like sterling silver. And
this one, no, this is
but mine are. They're about like $5. It's this one, and it's like a little heart. I wear it every day, and this one for like a few months since like December maybe. This one I wear every single day. You know my cuticles and
do because we're big believers in the evil eye.
But they have this one. I got this one on Etsy.
Your team, Suzanne, me and you are soul sisters.
I got this one from a small business.
Effing love Temu.
But yeah, I wear these two every single day.
All right,
for months.
Are you gonna do Cat's Corner?
Yes.
5-minute Cat's Corner. Everybody go get something to drink.
Stop it. Okay, hold on. I'm set my timer so you know.
All right,
okay, guys.
Timer.
I don't have much to talk about. I just have like school. Look at my face though. It looks like I was punched. Maybe I was. So basically, school's going well. I did that.
Hey, Sean the Brit. Hold on, Sean the Brit's here.
Okay.
Hey, Sean the Brit.
Stop.
He is sexy.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, school's been going well. I haven't done a Cat's Corner in a while. I did a short film. That's not really a short film, but it's like a 3-minute video. If you go to my YouTube channel after this, shut up. If you go to my YouTube channel after this, you can see that. It's 3 minutes. I wrote it, I directed it, and I edited it together.
And cast it.
I cast my friend DJ, but I didn't cast him.
He's a lot.
Mommy watches your channel. I love DJ.
I love him.
He is my favorite person ever. So
I agree with that.
Sorry,
I don't mean to keep. I'm sorry.
So it was fun to, it's like art, Thank you. Yeah. So I put it on YouTube channel. I put it on YouTube. I think I got like a 98 on that.
Vodka.
No, because I took a sip out of it and I made a face earlier. So
it's on the bread. Hey,
I know.
Hey, Cassandra. Sorry.
So that was a lot of fun. I entered a contest, a poetry contest.
She did.
and it.
You don't have one to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that was fun, and my professor. It was for like an assignment, so everyone had to do it. But she read mine, and she was flabbergasted, y'all. She wants me to talk to the chairman of English at my school. I'm just a poet, like Philip Hamilton from Hamilton, the musical.
There we go, baby.
And so yeah, that was fun. I have 3 minutes left. I don't have a lot. I'm stage managing at my school.
Right.
Stage managing.
Got a play coming up.
Got a play coming up. I still don't know what my job is. But that's the showbiz.
That is showbiz, isn't it? It's like this. I never know if I'm in it or if I'm not. Am I cast in the role of these Shannon 681?
I know. Now we're working on. Oh my god! I applied to a job the other day. Okay, because I want to get a summer job.
It's horrid.
It was torrid.
My favorite fat girl store. My god, I
know.
love that store.
I would have gotten like a 50% off discount. Look at that going away.
Hey, try me, bitch.
Let me type in chat. And I'm planning on putting stuff I put there. I have edited because I'm in editing. I did that in video production 1, and now I'm in editing. And so I've done a few more projects since then.
But can I just add this, please? Thank you. This is your third channel, John Bradley. Bit. All right, so
I'm gonna pause.
Editing is what she's doing right now. All right, so when I want to do this huge,
which we're
parody,
working on.
She's effing with me all the time. You gotta do this. You gotta do that.
I cannot edit
Go
together.
on, talk about your shit.
I can't edit together 6 people talking.
Sure you can.
With no script
She
to
can.
go off of. I didn't get the job. Oh, for the job. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I put that I needed a reference, okay? So I said I worked at 681 Productions as a film and editor.
Yeah.
And I
do.
I do. Do I get paid? No, but I do work.
She gets to live here for free.
That's your job.
That's true.
I know.
Is it over yet?
No, it's over.
God, hurry up. I want to get started. I got to go make some eggs.
You guys, when she makes eggs later, she can't peel them for shit.
No, I really can't. Then I end up throwing half the eggs.
So we have 2 dozen eggs. Let's see how many she actually makes.
Ain't gonna be that many.
But yeah, it's just so I can't wait. I know I'm gonna start writing. I'm gonna write scripts this year, like this summer, just to have some and to strengthen my script writing abilities. She wants my English professor wants me to. I'm majoring in film, but she wants me to like minor in English because she says I'm a really, really strong writer. I'm just an artist, really.
It's a really beautiful poem.
Should I read it? I'm not going to read it.
I know. I love her, Flash. I do.
I'm not angel.
She really, this poem that she wrote was absolutely, it was like jaw-dropping.
Like my professor said it was
jaw-dropping. It was pretty good.
So it's like I can't pronounce what it's called, but you have to look at a painting.
I can't pronounce what
it's like an ethrastic.
Wait a minute.
Ethrastic.
Okay. I know.
Poem. Like if you write like a letter or a poem about a painting. And my favorite painting at the school, I wrote about that.
Yeah, because Randolph has got an excellent art museum.
Yes.
I mean, it is top notch. So
and they have paintings all around the school too.
Yeah.
And I wrote about that. And it's so beautiful. Guys, I'll post it on my community page.
Oh yeah, do that.
I'll post it on my community.
You can do the picture, the painting, and then under that, yeah.
And the picture doesn't even do it justice.
No,
it's like it takes up the entire wall. And I could look at it for hours.
Okay, well, bye.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
I would like to say goodbye to my fans.
Okay.
To my friends, I would like to say goodbye to them. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. I've been working really hard on it behind the scenes.
Yeah, crazy.
I've been working really hard.
I wish you
behind
did.
the scenes, putting everything together, researching, making notes, just so she could be the face of it.
So fucking bad. That's so wrong. That is so wrong.
You know, Cat's Corner, guys. It's actually, I'm gonna put some paintings up.
Hold on, but real quick. I just real quick. Show them my. No,
I know you just knocked off your phone.
that's my daughter Devin got me that. That's
double sided
for my jewelry. It needs to go in there because I literally have things of jewelry everywhere. So Devin was trying to keep me on my game there and got me that for Christmas, and so I need to start putting.
Where's the rings? Like right here?
I don't know.
I guess so.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna put it.
Great cat.
It is nice, right?
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Can you please?
Okay, but yeah, it's gonna be decorated. Don't worry, guys.
Oh, and she wants me to cancel next week's.
I know. I have Tech Week.
Yeah, she wants me to cancel next week's conspiracy stream, which I might do because she's been waiting on that for a minute.
Since like before
your surgery, put something in
I've been
place.
Excited about it. So maybe it's just gonna be just chat night. Maybe it's gonna be. Oh, maybe you can like. Maybe you can begin your small town mysteries.
Why are you hitting me? I'm very delicate. Yeah. Oh shit! What did I do? Hold on. Not that one. Not that one.
Was I punched? Look at it. Look at it.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Love you guys. My Cash App is.
God the fuck up. Sorry.
I'm kidding, guys. I would never share that information.
Why are we not? Oh, nope. I just. All right. There. Okay. There we are.
Guys.
The Yuba County Five.
Thank you for your comments.
Oh.
Poem. Go up my community page.
Okay. Yuba County 5. You know, I hate it when they do that, when they add the. Excuse me, hold on. There she's left. I have to call. When they have like the Yuba County 5. Well, it was actually five men. Hey, Margaret. You know, it's actually 5 human beings. You know, the forward trio, blah blah blah. So, but this is about 5 men. In 1978, so it's been a minute. Who 4 of them were intellectually challenged. There was different variations of it between 4 of them. The 5th one, Gary Mathias, actually had schizophrenia. She's so great. Look, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. So these boys, they were in a gateway program. That was the name of the deal. And they played basketball. They had a basketball league, right? And on February 25th of 1978, they had a huge tournament that was coming up. So much so that they had their uniforms laid out because they were so excited about this, right? So at the end of the tournament, whoever won it would go to LA for a week for free. So we're talking, all right, so this is Yuma County, California. All right. Now, the 24th of February, they decided they wanted to go 50 miles north to Chico, California, to watch a basketball game with their favorite college basketball team. And they did that. They piled into a car and they drove 50 miles up to Chico, California. We know that. We know that at 10 o'clock that night, after their team won, that they stopped at a store at around 10 o'clock. And they got milk, candy, stuff like that. What kids would, normally get. Now, after that, nobody knows what happens. Nobody knows why, who did what, but we'll get to that in a second. First, I want y'all to meet the boys, okay? Because they're really, now this photograph that I have up right here, I hate this photograph more than anything. If you on the end here, you see Gary Mathias. He's the one with the glasses. He looks crazy right here. But and I'll show you other photographs. This guy looks nuts right here. He's the one that had schizophrenia, but he was medicated very well. So he took 2 medications a week or a day, I can't remember. And he was, for a year, had no flare-ups, nothing. All right, nothing. And he didn't have any that day. He looks crazy right here. Okay, love, I'll go. So let's just, you want to meet the boys? Let's meet the boys. Let's meet the boys. All right. Okay, so this is a very much better picture of Gary, even though he still looks kind of crazy right here. But, you know, come on. Yeah, it's the eyes. It's the glasses. It's a lot. It's really kind of a hard picture. I think on the thumbnail of, I think there's another photograph of Gary. It's a much better picture that, this is Bill Sterling. So let's find Bill Sterling. And like I said, I'm going to describe to you various degrees of mental challenges that they had. None of them were, well, there's one of them that was maybe a little bit, but so let me move all this right here. Let's find Bill. Now, when we get to Gary Mathias, we're going to have a lot of bio for him. Yes. Carrie, though, they were all very handsome, actually. All right, so the bios on these boys are not very long until you get to Gary Mathias. And I'll let you know that in a minute. Come on. Why is my paper sticking together? Son of a bitch. Hold on. I can't get my paper. Oh, Carrie. He does. Hey, Foofer. We're just getting started, so you're good. All right, let's talk about Bill Sterling right here. He was 29 years old. He was considered social and intelligent, but some described him as lazy. He spent an unspecific time in 2 different mental institutions, in the Napa State Hospital and DeWitt General Hospital, between the ages of 8 and 19 years old. So he wasn't there the whole time, but he had been in these 2 for a while. He was living at home with his parents at the time of his disappearance. So he'd been living with them since he was 19. So he'd been living with them for 10 years. I mean, it's unknown whether he had any mental health support at the time. He suffered from hyperactivity, so HDA, you know, all that good stuff. He could be viewed as a danger if other people got in his way. Right? Oh my God, I'm about to throw this. Oh no, don't do that. So, you know, he could be a danger if he was confronted. He was a custodian. His mother and his family actually encouraged him to leave that job because they thought maybe he was being taken advantage of financially by some of the people, because he was just, you know, that her son was sexually harassed. His mother said that her son was sexually harassed. I didn't look too deep into that because, one, at this point, look, we're talking about 1978. So the longer we get past that, you know, February 24th, 1978, it gets murkier and murkier. So I didn't get into that too much. So Bill's best friend was Jack Madruga, and we're going to talk about Jack Madruga in a minute. His car is actually the one that they all piled into to go up to Chico. So they were best friends. Let me stress this. When I say best friends, so you have Bill and Jack Madruga, who were best friends. Then you have Ted Weir and Jackie Hewitt. They were best friends, meaning if you saw one of them, you saw the other one. All right. The friend that was added on later was Gary Mathias. But they all 5 got along great. They went bowling. They, you know, just did everything. So they were best friends. He held down a job. He worked with Jack. They like to walk around and they would walk for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. They could easily walk 9 to 10 miles a day. This is they giving you, and they were just nice kids. All right, they were just kids. And when I say the town called them the boys before they ever went missing, they were the boys. Well liked and whatnot. Now, Bill was pretty religious, and he would talk to mama. He would talk to anybody about, the Lord, and he was extremely religious and would witness to about anybody that would listen. So again, it's hard to gauge their intellectual disabilities because at the time the R word was used. Even when these boys went missing, some of the headlines were retarded boys, lost, retarded this. 78, this was the word that they used. And I'll tell you this, I started to use that word here lately, and I don't even know why. I don't even know why. And when I did the research here, it reminded me what a just gross word it is. It's just kind of gross. So, All right, so who we got next here? Okay, this is Jackie Hewitt. Now, Jackie Hewitt was the most disabled, if you want to call it that, of the group. Yeah, it's so hard. But I will tell you this, as I interrupt myself again. On Netflix, there is a series. I have it written down somewhere. Is a series on Netflix about mysteries or whatever. And the Yuba County Five is one of the episodes. Now, I never watch these things while I'm researching because I don't want somebody else's opinion to pollute what I'm doing. All right. But I watched this episode of the Unexplained Things. And their family, ASDA, their families were on there. Now, when I'm looking at a picture and I'm reading what other people have written. All right. So when I watched this episode of the series, I was taken aback because we're talking to their brothers, we're talking to their their nephews, their families. And it put a whole new perspective on the photographs that we're looking at right now. They were so deeply loved. They were so. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Happy Easter to you too. I appreciate that. They were absolutely adored. In the town by their families. And it put a whole new spin on it for me. And I would, if I don't remember back then, anything, there you go. And it was always this blanket retarded. So it's kind of put me back in the mode where I can't do this anymore. All right, so here's Jackie Huey. He's 24. He had a slight droop to his head, and he was handicapped from birth. At birth, his doctors at the time described his parents to him as being retarded, a word commonly used at the time, but now is considered unacceptable. He suffered from asthma. He lived with his family. All these boys live with their families at this point, late 20s or early 30s. So, but asthma. All right. So he had two brothers, a sister, and his family is on this show as well. And they are, it breaks my heart. Although reports have consistently stated that Jackie was the most handicapped of the group of five, family members dispute this, saying that he was able to function well. He sometimes was slow to respond. He was shy and somewhat reclusive. He didn't speak much. When he did, it was with a noticeable lisp. He could not read or write and never stayed away from home. Not one night of his life. Hey, Sarah the Ninja, the Archie Ninja. Jackie had never spent the night away from home in his whole life. That's why what I'm getting ready to tell you in a second has been is so weird. But his family said that he could write his name. So, I'm not going to split hairs. If he could write his name, he probably couldn't write a whole lot more than that. He was a talented athlete. He enjoyed fishing and hunting with his family members. He owned a motorcycle and could drive it, but did not have a driver's license. He was a loving shadow to Ted Weir, his best friend. Hey, Midnight Baker! So they were like this. And if you saw one of them, you saw the other one. And they had met sometime in 1970. By 1974, they were in the Gateway Project, which I'll describe to you in a minute. They both worked for a packaging company where they wound up cable and packaged it. They would look after each other in a protective way. That Jackie would not use a phone for whatever reason. He had a phobia. He did not want to use the phone. He never used the phone. If Jackie needed to call someone, either his brother would dial the phone for him and translate, or Ted Weir would. Jackie never talked on the phone. That's going to be important too in a little while. Let's see. He did this like that. Sweet boy, look at him, this sweet kid. This is Ted Weir. Ted Weir was 32 years old. He was the oldest of, no, that's not his son. I think that was a nephew that was just with Jackie. Now, Ted Weir was 32 years old. He was considered slow by his family from birth. He could hold a job but needed supervision. He was employed as a janitor for a while at the Yuba County Middle School. He also worked as a snack bar clerk. He too was encouraged to quit a job because they thought people were going to exploit him for his money, and he was just such a great guy that he would just give it to him. When he went missing, he was a laborer for Pacific Gas and Electric in the area, packaging and winding the wire that him and Jackie did together. He was outgoing. He could read and write. He enjoyed being active and would walk for miles with a poor sense of direction. Now, another thing with Ted here, Ted did not understand things like why you would stop at a stoplight. He didn't understand it. He didn't understand it at all. Had no clue why you would do that. He also, at one point, these boys were highly scheduled, right? They had a schedule that they stuck to because that's the way their life was easier, right? So everything was pretty predictable with them. Yeah. Now, at one point, Ted Weir's house caught on fire when he was younger. Well, in his 20s. And his house was on fire. His brother, thank you, Margaret, thank you. When the house was on fire, Ted refused to get out of his bed. His ceiling was on fire because he had to get up for his job the next day and he didn't want to oversleep. This is how his mind worked. His brother literally had to drag him out of a burning house because Ted didn't want to oversleep and not be able to go to work the next day. I mean, look at that face. It's a sweet face. His brothers were on this documentary on Netflix, and they thank you. Thank you. Y'all know what a crush I have on Margaret? It's huge. But his brothers were on the documentary and said that, the parents had died and that Ted would absolutely be living with one of them if he were alive. Ted's story is probably the hardest one that I'm going to tell you because it is so cruel. Yeah, it's just, but we'll get to it in a minute, and it's just bad. It's bad. Now, Ted was not violent. All right, not violent. And that's gonna like play into this in a minute. He was actually dating a woman. They used to talk on the phone for hours. I forgot that. And then we're gonna hit. Here we got. Okay, this is Jack Madruga. So we have two Jacks, Jackie and Jack. Jack's nickname was Doc. Now he was in the army. So he had been in the army. He was in Vietnam. This is 1970s, mind you. Let me find his little page here. Hold on. Let me find his page. Where you at, Jackie? He was actually, and then he had his license. He was probably, along with Gary Matthias, probably the least intellectually challenged, but he was at this point. So he was 30, nicknamed Doc. His family gave it to him. He loved basketball. He loved baseball. He was swimming. He loved music. His family said he was intelligent and fun-loving. Jack had a low IQ, but he wasn't diagnosed as mentally disabled. He was a high school graduate. He went into the army. When he got out of the army, he even enrolled in college all by himself. All by himself. Maybe he does a little bit. He did keep a hold of his own finances. He could assess situations very quickly. So he was, his best friend, again, was Bill. That's going to come into importance. All right, now we're going to talk about Gary Matthias. Everybody do a little temple roll. We're going to talk about. This is the picture that I love of Gary Matthias. Now, but Gary Matthias has got a bigger bio than any of them. And when I start reading it, you're going to say, well, Shannon, I think we figured this case out. Yeah. Now, let me get all this because Gary had a lot. So Gary went into the army when he was younger. If y'all know anything about schizophrenia, it usually hits 17 to 20 some years old, usually males. And it's usually, and I say this because that's about the time a boy or a girl would go to college. So when they're at college, they start making this change, right? Hey, Helen, baby. They slowly start to show these the symptoms of being schizophrenic. And their family's not around every day to go, it's not working. That's weird. So like this actually happened with Gary. He went into the army, and then he began to show signs of a mental illness. And we'll put it at that right there. He was only 25 years old. He had the most severe mental health of this. He was schizophrenic. There's a lot of stories I could go, and I'm just going to try to weed through. Now, mind you, at the point that these boys went missing, Gary had been successfully medicated. He took 2 different medications. He was religious about it. All right. His stepfather also held it, doled it out. Gary was religious about taking his medication. He was showing no signs of any kind of, episode coming on at all. That's going to be important in a little while too. So here we go. This is a lot. After graduating high school in 1971, he enlisted into the army. He was a supply clerk in Germany. During this time, he was suspected of illicit drug use and was diagnosed as being schizophrenic. So he medicated himself. And he did this for a long time because a lot of schizophrenic people do this. A lot of mentally ill people do this. You can be bipolar. You're going to try to medicate yourself before, you're going to get any help. So he was sent back to the U.S. from Germany. He failed to take his medications and he lapsed back into his disoriented psychosis. He was sent to the Letterman Veterans Association Hospital in San Francisco for treatment in November of 1973. I'm sorry. And then he was at that point discharged from the Army. So although he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, he was not properly medicated between 1972 and 1975. And that's where all of this fuckery, excuse my language, starts. That's where you get, whereas these boys had one, not even a full page, Gary Mathias has got a lot of stuff going on. So again, between 72 and 75, he was not properly medicated. He suffered from hallucinations, delusions, psychosis, disorganized thinking. He was considered to be, considered by this disease that went haywire, and his stepfather Bob put it. All right, so we're going to start getting some of the winky-dinky stuff he did because it was a lot. All right, so he could drive. Him and Jack Madruga were the only two that had licenses. He was considered the odd man out with these two sets of best friends. But there's nothing to say that they didn't get along. In fact, it was like the opposite. However, when I watched this damn documentary on Netflix, you have the other boys' family saying that they were scared of Gary. Hey, Fly, goes, how are you? I'm trying. Listen, there's a lot popping off. I'm trying to be like the palate cleanser, as Ghost would say. I'm the palate cleanser right now today. All right, so yeah, his basketball coach called him Spacey, and this would be at the Gateway Project. He could flip on a dime. I'm the same way, and I am not schizophrenic that I know of. Police records show that he became violent on occasion and was charged with assault twice, including a battery on an officer and intent to rape. And what happened then was he self-medicated because people were exactly. People. I don't think I've known many people that I'm bipolar. Shocker. And for a long time, I self-medicated because it's just a thing you do, I guess. Because when you don't know better, when you know better, you do better. Right? Hey, sweet crazy lady. The violent episodes were not related to schizophrenia, though, as a person with the disease is likely to commit violence. So let's talk about this rape, and it was bad. Attempted rape. He had a friend, and the friend's wife lived in a house, and Gary went over there to watch some TV something. And Gary got up to go to the bathroom. And the friend noticed he hadn't come back in a long time. So he goes to the bathroom. He's like, Gary, you all right? He goes into their bedroom. And Gary is in the bed with his wife. I think she's still asleep. And I'm not downplaying it was bad. Don't get me wrong. But it was bad. All right, I'll just go with it. It is bad. It is bad. He got into an altercation in Marysville with a gang of youths. At 1 a.m., a drunk Mathias was thrown through a window at a downtown business with minor injuries. The Maryville police investigated and made no arrest. Gary was sent back to the Veterans Hospital, and then he was reported AOL from that. Did I say AW? I said AOL. AW, the AWOL. All right, so on February 3rd, 1973, someone contacted the Yuba County Sheriff's Office that Mathias had been allegedly involved in a rape. I just explained that to you. So when the friend went into their own bedroom, Gary was on top of his wife, naked, fondling her breast. Again, very bad. I get it. It is bad. It is very bad. So he ran out of the house. And then whether he exposed himself, we don't know. The sheriffs did track him down at his parents' home and attempted to question him, but he refused without an attorney being present. So he wasn't that out of it. On February 11th, 1973, Matthias was causing a disturbance, and 3 officers went to his cell because they did put him in a cell, and he punched him in the face, and he tried to attack another one. So he was a little bit, out there. I'm just trying to skip through this because it's a lot. He was reported in December of 1973 as being a prowler. He was looking in the windows of a woman who had a 3-year-old daughter. He was arrested for driving without a license. He went to his grandmother's house in Portland, Oregon. Here's what Gary would do. This is odd. Gary would, he went to his grandmother's house in Portland, Oregon. And then Gary just decided he was going to walk home. Hundreds of miles he walked home. Hundreds. He did this twice. Twice. He would go hundreds of miles. So Gary finally got medicated correctly. He'd been medicated correctly for many years before the disappearance. Are we ready to go? All right. Can I make this bigger? I can make this bigger. Nope, not me bigger. Nope, not me bigger. This bigger. Right? All right, we got it. This was Ted Weir's little notebook. And like I told y'all that the basketball tournament that they were all so excited for, right, was starting February 25th, 1978 in Yuba County. And this was something that Ted wrote in his little notebook, pumping himself up for this tournament. They had already won a crazy tournament to even get into this one. So their chances were pretty good that they might just win this. So they were so excited that a couple of them had laid their uniforms out. They had asked their parents please don't let us sleep late. All right, we're going to go back here. So, and let me show my face. Hold on a minute. I like to be on the corner there. So on the 24th of February, they all piled into Jack Madruga's absolute. He was so obsessed with his car. It was in 1969. Oh my God, don't tell me I forgot the name of the damn car. Mercury Montego. I'm sorry, Mercury Montego. I have a picture of it in a minute. He loved this car. All right. Jack Madruga loved this car. In fact, at one point, I think he and Bill was at Jack's house and it was raining, right? And so Jack did not want to drive his car to take Bill Sterling home because it might mess up his car. This kid will love that car, okay? This is going to be important too. He loved that car. Now, their families did not want them to do this. They didn't want them to go to that game that night on 24th. But this was a route that Jack Madruga had traveled hundreds of times from Yuba County to Chico, California. All right, 50 miles north. One shot. It was one shot, no turns. And he had done this hundreds of times before. So, also, they had dressed very lightly for that day. All right. That night, I mean, they had very light coats on. They had tennis shoes on. And even, I think Ted Weir's mother or grandmother, when he was walking out the door, said, Teddy, you probably need to put on a thicker jacket. And he was like, I don't need a thicker jacket. We're not going to need it. Yeah. So they all piled in. And they got there to the game and they watched the game. And we know this because they were witnessed, right? People remembered seeing them at this game. Their team won. They were ecstatic. Around 10 p.m., they stopped at a Bears convenience store where they got snacks, food, milk. And this was the last known sighting. And the reason it was known is because they came in at 10 o'clock. The girl that was working there, they closed at 10 o'clock. All right. So she was very irritated that these people, 5 kids came in, and she couldn't close. So this was their last known sighting. Okay. All right. I'm making sure I have my stuff here. All right. Now, this was a straight shot back to Chico. This is a straight shot back to Yuba County. They didn't take this route. For some reason, they went the opposite way. This is a picture of the Plumas County National Forest sign. Now, with Jack Madruga having made this trip hundreds of times, when Jack Madruga left that market, he knew, he had to know he was going the wrong way. He had to know it. Now, when he passes this sign here, he really had to know it. They were going, and I'll show you the route in just a second, nowhere near Yuma. Then they took a turn off of whatever road they were on. Around, I think people said around somewhere between 10 and 11, they took this turn off of the highway that they were on. And they started up this road. Now they had to pass this, they had to go on this bridge. This is when they all had to know, we're not going the right way. We're not going the right way. This bridge is not on our way. But they kept going. What? Why? Hey, Stoney, how are you? I'm glad you came over. I'm trying to relieve the whole community of the shit going down right now. So they knew they were going the wrong way. They knew when they hit this bridge, they were going the wrong way. They knew when they saw that sign, they were going the wrong way. This is February 24th, 1978. And they ended up 4,000 feet above sea level. All right, so here we go. Here's Yuba. There's Chico. You see this Oroville right here? Y'all can't ever see my damn pointer. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me pump it up a little bit bigger. Is it big enough? No, let's do it a little bit more bigger. All right. Oroville, right? That's where that bridge is that they passed. This is Jack's car. Well, this is a picture of a car just like Jack's. It's very low to the ground. All right. It's a very low to the ground. Let me take myself out of this huge one here. All right. So there's Oroville. There's Yuma. There's Chico. So while they did go in the right direction, it was not the right direction, if you know what I'm talking about. The car. And then we'll just do this. Okay, this is the actual car. Hold on, let me go back. All right, let me see. I can see my pretty face. When the kids did not come home that night, and I say kids, and they're not. They were men. Their families realized rather quickly that this was very much not normal. And as one parent realized their son wasn't there, they would call the next parent, and the next parent would call the next parent. And finally, at early on the morning on the 25th, all the families were like, oh shit, something bad has happened. And they called the police. And the police say, they're adults. We can't do anything right now. They're adults. The family said, listen, yes, they're adults, but they're all special needs. They all have special needs. And the police were like, nothing we can do about it. Sorry, you can file a report in a couple days. So that's what they did. They waited. Now, around the 26th or the 27th, park rangers in the Plumas County, the Plumas National Forest came upon the car. Still by my youngest. Oh, yeah. The forest people found the car on a rutted, snowy logging road. This road wasn't even on a map, all right, because it was a logging road. Now people did go up this road to check the snow lines, all right, because we're talking about 4,000 feet above sea level, all right. So they also had to pass when they went through there. They had to pass a inn, like a tavern, a bar, or whatever. They had to pass that. What made them take this road? Nobody knows. They took this road. Jack Madruga took his beloved car up this rutted, snowy road. And for whatever reason, parked the car and got out of the car. Now, they possibly were stuck. And when I go through, I'm going to show you the actual APDX. I'm going to show you the actual photographs of the car. 1978, these are in black and white. But anyway, let me find my notes on that too. Hold on. Y'all know I got notes, people. I know I got them. Let me get them. Hold on. Let me get the car ones because I had to specifically write these down because there's actually a little on these. There's a little like blow by blow with the. Hold on. Let me find them. That's not it. This is it. All right. So let me show you the actual car. So this is actual photographs of the car that they found. It doesn't look very rutted or very snowy right here, but it was. In fact, they had snow drifts at about 15 feet deep and on some of the highways off these haunted highways. I'm so glad that the paranormal folks are starting to come in here. I appreciate y'all so much. All right, so let's go. Now, there was evidence possibly they were stuck, but could have easily, with 4 people pushing, could have easily gotten out of this. There was some evidence that the back wheel had spun. I say that because that's in the report. However, Jackie Hewitt's dad, who is Jackie Sr., went up there and saw no evidence of any spinning. But, I mean, here's another part of it. So there we do see the ruts. We do see the ruts there. So yeah, there. You also see the snow on the side. Let me make sure I got my little key note here because. All right, let me see about the spinning. Let's see. All right, this is where they're trying to show that it was spinning. I can't really tell if y'all, Maddie, Lynn, Marie, gas doesn't wonder if they ran. No, they had a half a tank of gas. It's funny that you mentioned that. They thought maybe the car had been disabled, broken down, or whatever. Started right up. They had to hot wire it, and it did have a half a tank of gas. It didn't run out of gas. But that's good because you made me remember that. All right, so that's where and like I said, Jackie Sr. said, "No, never saw that." Here's another part of it. They speak for themselves, I guess. All right. Another shot of the car. But if you see people around there, I want to say this is the family at this point. And these are all just pictures of it. Okay, now we're going to see. This is the back seat of the car. And, I have not looked at Donner Party. I haven't done the Donner Party yet. But I you know what, sorry, I need to. I need to. So this is another verification that these boys were at this Bears market. There's the candy, the cookies, the milk that are still in the car. And then we'll look up here at the drivers. Okay, so this is some more of that. Now, oddly enough, this is probably good. Back then we had maps. I don't know if y'all remember maps, but in everybody's glove compartment was a map. And none of the maps in Jackie's I'm sorry, Jack's glove compartment were out. So they had not used a map to get here. And if they had a map, this road was not going to be on it. So this was a logging road. Now, another odd thing about this is Jack Madruga was I told y'all, very particular about the car. When they found the car, it was unlocked and the driver's side window was down. And the family says, nope, we wouldn't have done that. That was not, nope, and nope, that did not happen. Jack did not do that. Well, we'll get to that too in a minute. Yeah, this is just gets so odd. And I've done this twice. And there, like I said, there's some more. Another big thing. So these boys went up, and when I say the boys, that's what they were called in the town. These boys got up this road. They got off of the wrong highway, past the bridge they knew was wrong, past the sign they knew was wrong, up in this road that's not a road. People have said that when they looked at this car, the back end is low, the mufflers are very low. And there was nothing wrong with he had not in any way damaged the underside of that car, which led some to believe that somebody much more experienced on this particular road had to have driven it up there and not him. However, Jack Madruga actually grew up on a farm and in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And the only way in and out of their farm was a rutted driveway, and that he knew very well. And even when it snowed, he knew it very well. So, they fell off one night. Listen, there was no damage to the underside of that car. So you are going to have people that believe that somehow, some way, somebody drove that car with the boys in it up there. We'll never know. We'll never know. But it's all going to play out in about 10 seconds if you. So the boys are gone. There are no boys. No more boys. They're gone. This is now what, 5 days later? The search was we had 4 different agencies searching. About 200 searchers. And they went in the radius around this car, right? Around, and I'm not talking about a very great radius. It was just a radius around this car. Remember, it was snowing. It was 15 feet of snow and some snow drifts in some part of this. And the 200 people on horseback, they used planes, helicopters. They could not find one single anything. And this is what I was telling y'all before, that the newspapers would say retarded boys still missing, retarded boys, and one of their family members had even said, maybe if they said 5 basketball champions were missing in the mountains of the the Plumas National Forest, maybe people would have tried a little bit harder. He might be right. He might be right, but that's not what happened. So basically, the weather was hampering all of the searches, and there came a huge, hey Ginger, a very big snowfall came, and they had to call it off. They had to call it off. Jackie Hewitt's father vowed to his son, I will find you. Son, I will find you. And his dad went up there every single day. Now, because Jackie Hewitt's father was such an experienced hunter and fisherman, and let me say this too, none of these boys liked snow and being cold. Not any of them. None of them. All right. They would not have gone up this hill, dressed the way they were, light jackets, tennis shoes, they would not have done it. They wouldn't have done it. This is where it kind of changes from the law is those cats were actually hiking. These boys were not. They were not doing it. So how they got up there, why they abandoned the car, why they went up the mountain instead of down the mountain, we will never know. There's, I think the end that they passed was like 7 or 8 miles down the road. For some reason, they went up. Hey, Spitfire! Spitfire, I wanted to thank you last weekend and all your paranormal, but especially Spitfire, because we all got off on the wrong foot. And I was so thankful that you and your friends came over here last week. And I was trying to tell you that in chat, but I was down on my laptop. I was on my phone, so I couldn't tag you. But I want to thank all you paranormal people because I'm loving y'all being here, and I'm loving y'all all around the country, all around the community. Sorry. All right. So, Jackie would go up. Jack Hewitt Sr. would go up there. Jack Hewitt Sr. told them there are some forestry cabins up there that y'all might need to look at. And everybody agreed that there was no way those boys made it up to those cabins because they were 19 miles. From the car to the cabin was 19 miles. They didn't go search. And for whatever reason, Jack Sr. did not go search it either. Hey, Flavor! I'm going to be cooking too in a minute, honey. All right, so, we're going to cut to, I'll tell you this. A snowcat. You know what they are? Like little, it's like a four-wheeler. A snowcat had gone up this little area, up this route, all right, to the cabins. Now, it was a 19-mile trip. Possibly the boys took an 11-mile trip the same route, all right, because, shocker, they were found at this cabin. So let me go forward here. I know this is Austin Matthews from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and look at him. He's very confused, just like we all are. I know, Austin, but I'm getting to it. This is the end. This is the little inn that they passed. And that end's going to become a little bit more prevalent here in a minute. Okay. I know this is horribly, terrible, bad to see, but let me try to get it a little bit bigger. I don't even think I can. Let me see. I always had to use my phone. That's the only time I ever know if it's gigantic or not. Hold on. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. I usually have this pulled up already. All right. And this is not, hold on 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, this is huge. This is the actual Snowcat Trail. Okay. Now you see the red, right? The red is the actual road. And this little in yellow is actually the thing. All right, so here is, and this is a shitty picture, I'm sorry, but these are search teams. Over here on the right, they are the cabin. That's the cabin. Now, boys, y'all don't play it tomorrow night. Get out of here, dummies. All right. So we have, this is another great map. This is the Yuba City down here home. They went to the basketball game up in Chico. The car was abandoned, and the bodies were found over here in this area. I told you they had to pass the Bidwell Bridge. They had to pass the sign. They had to pass the inn. They, instead of coming down that rutted mountain, they went up it. And in June, and let me just take this down a little bit. I should probably always be using this, right? Hey, damn, Kate. So June 4th of 1978, some motorcycle enthusiasts were going, riding their motorcycles up there. And they saw these two trailers is what they are. They're not cabins, they're trailers. And they noticed a very strong scent coming from the cabin. And when they went in, to investigate. They found a body in there wrapped in about 5 or more sheets, wrapped around almost like a mummy. The hands were crossed over the chest, and the sheets were tucked very tightly around this body. Okay. And let me see. And there we go. Here's a picture of it. There was a window broken out of this as well. And I guess that's where all right, here's 2 of them right there. All right, now in this cabin, there were a lot of MRIs, meals ready to eat. And there was also a huge propane tank. When I say a tank, I mean a huge one, right? There was also freeze-dried food. There was also enough food to do 5 people for almost a year. There were clothes, warm clothes. There were blankets. There were a fireplace. And still we have this body being found in it. Now, they had to open these up. They had to use a special can opener that the Army uses. The only 2 people that had any knowledge of that particular can opener would have been Gary Mathias or Jack Madruga. All right. And there were about 20 meals that were open. All right. There were about 20 meals. You had the body there, but there was nobody else around. So when they unwrapped this body, it was actually Ted Ware. And Ted Ware had been 6 foot 220 when he went missing. He was cleanly shaven when he went missing. Now, when they found him, and this is hard. He weighed about 120 pounds. So he had lost half his body weight. He had a beard. He had 3 toes had fallen off of his feet. They were severely frostbitten. And it is estimated that of the 14 and a half weeks that between the day they disappeared and the day that the day that they were this body was found was 14 weeks. The experts say he lived from 8 weeks to 13 weeks after he went missing. So he laid there for a while. Now, he wasn't torn apart. None of it. Somebody took care of him. Somebody took care of him for a period of time. I don't know why they didn't turn the propane on. I don't know why they didn't open more meals. I don't know. But there is, all right. So also in the cabin, Gary Mathias's shoes were found in that cabin. However, Ted's shoes weren't found in that cabin. So no, this is in California. This is the Plumas National Forest in California. So, but all right, so Gary's shoes were found in the cabin. Ted's were not. Ted's feet were bigger than Gary's. So if say Gary had a frostbite, it makes your feet swell up. Did he take Ted's shoes, right? Left his there, and did he try to get somewhere? We'll never gonna know that. But somebody took care of Ted for this amount of time. Ted couldn't get up and do anything for himself because his feet were so badly. So basically, Ted Weir died of starvation and hypothermia. And it took him between 8 weeks and 13 weeks to die. They found him on the 14th week. There's one in the documentary on Netflix. His nephew said that his grandmother, which obviously would have been Ted's mother, took him up in March of that year to the place where the car was found. And the nephew said, little did we know, Ted was still alive up that road, up that logging road. And he died in a horrible death. It was horrible. I can't imagine. Not thinking this is a sweet kid. Yeah, he was, they were in their, 20s, 30s, but he was a kid. Another explanation for why nobody touched the propane, the food, the blankets, is because Ted and Jackie, who were best friends, would never, ever, ever have thought they were stealing something or breaking the law. So if they got to this cabin, and obviously Ted did, and it depends on who he was there with, they would not have wanted to touch anything. Oh, I gotta find it. I gotta find it. I'll find it. Hey, Mayor's daughter. I tell you, I'll find it. I will find it. I have it written down somewhere, but I never look at notes after I take them. All right, so anyway, somebody was taking care of him. Somebody was absolutely taking care of him. So the next day, they go looking some more. All right. And before we get to the cabin, all right, and let me make sure, please, I have this. This is actually the bunk beds that Gary was in. No, I'm sorry, not Gary, Ted. Now, on a chair beside Ted, on a chair, were his wallet with money still in it, a necklace that had his name on it on one of his rings, and there was a watch there that had no jewels in it. If jewels make a watch go. Nobody knows whose watch that was. It wasn't Ted's watch. It wasn't anybody else's watch. Nobody knows where that watch came from, why it was sitting on a chair beside Ted's body. But, and let me go to this and blow it up. All right. So you see down here, we got Yuba City. We have Marion's. We have Chico. Then we have the red line here with the car was parked here. And then a little further up there, the bodies. So the next bodies, all right. The next bodies we find are actually down the mountain. All right. So here's Ted up here. I know y'all cannot see my pointer. God bless America. Ted's up here. About and this looks like a long ways, but it's only 7.5 miles. Way down here with Jack Madruga on one side of a road and Bill Sterling on the other side of the road. Both of them deceased, both of their bones scattered. The the theory is that they never made it to the cabin. So if that's true, the only two people that knew how to use the Army can opener were Jack Madruga and Gary Matthias. So if Madruga never made it to the cabin, which it's pretty obvious he didn't, then he couldn't have been one of the ones that opened the cabinet. Opened the food. So we have got the two best friends, Madruga and Sterling, down here together, one on one side of the road. When you any kind of hypothermia, you get very sleepy. All right. So it's theorized that one of them got very sleepy. The other one was not going to leave his friend. And they died as a result. Now, because we only found bones and not any soft tissue, we'll never know if it was any blunt force, any injuries that weren't on the skeleton, even that were, because animals had obviously been there. If you look over here too, a little past the cabin is where Jackie Hewitt was found. Now remember, Ted and Jackie were best friends, just like Bill and Jack Madruga were best friends. Now, so Jackie is found a little further north, not very much further, all right, but enough. All right, let me X out of this. So let me make myself here. Now, when they found Jackie Hewitt's body, his father was there. His father went on every single search there was. And it is said that at the time when he knew what his son had on the night he left. And that when they found Jackie's body, his dad just cried and said, "I'm sorry, son. I swore I would find you." And when Jackie Hewitt's shirt was lifted up, right, his backbone fell out of it. I mean, this is horrific. No, I can't. Now, I'll tell you this, Ginger. Probably the best, if we're going to go at deaths, it's the Madruga and Sterling, because they had hypothermia. So they're suffering. Well, yeah, it was bad. I mean, they're going up a mountain in tennis shoes and light jackets. They didn't make it very far. So was Hewitt ever in the cabin? We don't know. Nobody knows. Obviously these weren't fingerprinted, at the time. But if you notice, the one body that's never been found has been Gary Mathias. His body's never been found anywhere near it. There were some blankets and stuff like down the mountain a little bit in a weird spot, but Gary Mathias has never been found. Now, we'll go back to the car when they found the car. Jackie Hewitt Sr. said that there were only 4 sets of footprints walking away from that car. Not 5, 4. All right. Now, we're going to backtrack a little bit. There was a witness. And there were a couple witnesses, but there was a witness. Now, let's think. I'm going to do this too. All right. So, it would take the average person to walk a mile in ideal circumstances, 15 to 20 minutes to do so. These boys would have to have managed a mile every 20 minutes to get where they were when they got there. That's not humanly possible. But anyway, so we're going to talk about a supposed witness, and that guy's name was Joe Shones. Joe Shones. Now, Joe Shones had a pretty wild tale to tell. He was a drunk and an asshole. Sorry, I'm going to I'll skip the beginning and go right to the end. He was a drunk asshole bastard that nobody in his town likes, not even a little bit. And that all he really did all day was ride around drunk. Let me present myself. All he basically would do all day, all week, or whatever, is run around and be drunk. And he would go into he would get stuck in a ditch, and the people in the town would come pull him out the ditch. And then he and his wife hated each other. They had a daughter. All right. So Joe Shones, his story was, and you might want to take some Dramamine because this gets a little windy and road stupidly. So he says, Joe says, "No, I saw him. I went up. I took my VW bug up the logging road, up the rutted, snow-covered logging road to check the snow line." Thank you. Thank you. Because he and his family were going to go up there camping at a cabin that he had up there. Mind you, nobody ever checked to see if he had a cabin up there, but I digress. So he says that he got stuck in his little VW bug. Hold on, let me take a sip because this is hard to swallow. Then he says, while he was attempting to unstuck himself, that he had a heart attack. And that he got back into his VW bug and got into the back seat and turned the car on to stay warm. This is when it gets a little stupid. Oh, Kelts, plug your ears. You don't want to hear this. I'm just kidding. Now, so he said he did this between 5:30 and 6 on the 24th. He went up there to check the snow line. which let me tell you, was not out of the question. A lot of people went cross-country skiing from that point. So the fact that there were cars up there was not a big deal. That it usually was. All right, one or two. Anyway. So he says between 6 and 6:30, his VW lost traction. Okay. And then he had a little heart attack and he got back in his car. And he was only able to move it about 12 feet. He began having severe chest pains, got back in the car, turned the engine on and the lights. So now we're going to go all the way to 11 to 12 p.m. This is his story, not mine. He was awakened by someone whistling like one would a dog. I'm reading this word for word. He felt as if someone was shining a light on him. He opened his window and called for help. The figures walked back down the road, and Shones said he started to blow his horn. All right. Now, he says that he gets out of the car at this point and begins to try to climb a large snowbank. From the top of the snowbank, he can also see two vehicles. One was a light-colored sedan, which would have arguably been Madruga's Montego, and then he saw a red truck behind that. The red truck's going to come up again in a minute. And that there were several people, including a woman with a baby, standing around these two vehicles. Now, he claims that when he started to try to get their attention, everybody got quiet. Everybody went into the truck. So that would be 5 men, plus whoever was driving the truck, unless the woman was driving the truck. All right, so that is his first story. That's his first story because they get a lot dumber. All right, so then he decided this is what he decided he needed to do. I need to go and work my way back down the mountain to the end. Okay? Okay. Now, the only problem with this is this. 1970 VW Bugs did not produce heat if it wasn't in gear. So he couldn't have idled there because a VW Bug is not going to produce heat unless it is in gear. So that didn't happen. He did not get in that car for the heater to warm him up. It didn't happen. Didn't happen. So then he decides he's going to walk back down the mountain, 7 to 8 miles, mind you, with a heart attack. All right. And he walked into the, so he says he passed the Montego on the way down. He says he passed it because everybody got into that red truck, if you will remember. Now, there's varying stories on that. All right. There's varying stories on when he saw them, how many people were there, what he actually did. It changes a lot. So he goes back down the mountain and he goes into that little inn, the one that I showed you, just a simple little inn. And he walked in and sat down. Let's see, he put his hand in his head and said, I should have done this 2 years ago, which I don't know what that means. Nobody knows what that means. He asked for 2 Ashmans and a glass of water, and then he asked for a ride home. A guy named Steve Robinson gave him a ride home. He said that Joe Shones, during that trip home, spent a lot of the time just criticizing Robin's driving abilities, which would also make me want to get the little bastard home real quick. And then he said that the reason he got stuck was because another car was following him. So that's another story that Joe Shones told that didn't make any sense with the first one he told, and it didn't make any sense with the ones after he told. And hello, Wolf Rider. You're not late. You're just late. No, you're late. You are late. Just kidding. So now we have a lot of people that know Joe Shones that popped up and said he was an asshole. He was a liar. He was a drunk, and you couldn't basically trust anything he said. The whole town hated him. Okay. I mean, I believe it because he sounds like a real asshole. He did go to the hospital, Thank you, Wolf Rider, for becoming a member. He did go to the hospital. He did have a heart attack. The problem with the heart attack is, and I did not know this, when I do these things, when I research this, right? So not only do I have to go into the area of BW bugs and what they did in the 70s, right? Then heart attack. Now I got to go over here and I have to research a heart attack because I don't know about heart attacks. Believe it or not, I've never had one and I'm not a cardiologist. I know what you're thinking. Shannon, you are a cardiologist. No, I'm not. You can't tell, apparently, the time. All right, so if he said he had a heart attack on the 24th, 25th, and he goes to the hospital on the 27th, right? They can't tell exactly when that heart attack took place. Did he have it on the mountain? He said he did. Is there proof he did? No, there's not. Because while he did have a heart attack, he could not prove when it was. Sorry. So we have other sightings as well. So we're going to take everything that Joe said, and we're going to put a big poop on it, and we're going to flush it down the toilet because there's too many J's here. Joe Shones is an idiot. There, I said it. He also died in 2004, so good riddance. Okay. So we had the red truck, right? Joe Shones said he saw a red truck. Now, you have to remember, from February to June, these boys were missing. Nobody knew where they were. So there were sightings of who they thought were the boys. So a woman in Marysville, which is near there. I'm losing steam, people. Who owned a store, said that she specifically saw a red truck pull up to her store. There were 4 men in it. One got out. Well, actually, 2 got out and made a phone call in a phone booth. She described that person as Jackie Hewitt. Y'all remember in the beginning, I said Jackie Hewitt would not use a phone for no man's money. Would not. And she claimed that Jackie Hewitt stayed on that phone for 15 minutes with somebody else beside him. She said that was Jackie Hewitt on that phone. No, it wasn't. So we have a second sighting of a red truck having to do something with these boys. I mean, I'm throwing my hands up because obviously we don't think. She said she saw him from the 24th to the 26th. Saw him on Saturday and Sunday, which would be the 25th and 26th. I mean, no, Jackie Hewitt was not going to use the phone. So there's that. Also, they say this, the Fableys. These boys, if somebody had tooted their horn, right, and said and been in trouble, there is nothing these boys would not have done to help that person. That is just the way these boys were. Okay? So the fact that Joe Shones said that he did all this to try to get their attention, I mean, his story changed a lot with flashlights, and then the flashlights went off, and then they were on again. They were shown down, No. But the red truck theory is out there, and it's out there in more than one spot. So, go. Let me get away from Joe Shones here. I don't want to talk about Joe Shones anymore. All right, so watching the documentary, which I will find, I've got it written down somewhere, but before I log off here, I will have it. One of the family members, like I said, there were sightings. And when we start getting into these theories, right, and there's a few theories. There's not a lot of theories, but there's a few. Weird stuff starts occurring. Now, I told you they had the families on this documentary, which is always kind of hard because, again, they were pictures. I could look at pictures and I could read about them, but when you see other pictures of them and you see the people that love them begin to talk about them, it's really, you start putting this, these were not just four, retarded boys that were lost. These were beautiful boys and whatnot. So we have some sightings. Yeah. You ready? Let's get into the theories first. So there's a couple of theories that we have to work out. One is, these are the questions that are posed in the documentary, and they're actually really pretty good. The one question we have to ask is, did the boys willingly drive up to the Plymouth National Forest? I don't know. There is a theory out there that possibly in the parking lot of the Bear Market where they bought their candy and their milk and all that there were some bullies. Specifically mentioned in the documentary was a town bully that lived in Yuma, and that he was always in jail. He was just a bully and horrible, and that Gary Mathias and this guy tangled, right? And in the parking lot of the Bear Market before they, right after they left the game. And that they just beat the living hell out of Gary Mathias. And they took the boys and made the boys drive up this way. And then they ended up dropping Gary Mathias's body over the side of the Bidwell Bridge. And then they took the boys up to that mountain, and the boys were so terrified that they went up the mountain and didn't even attempt to come down the mountain. That's a theory. That's one of the theories. Is it possible? Anything at this point is possible. But we don't know if those boys willingly drove up there. Would Jack Madruga have driven his beloved car up this mountain on a rutted, snowy logging road? I don't think so. But why would they be up there? I don't know. Second question. Did police botch the search for the men? These are all questions exactly from this documentary. Did the police botch the search? Well, I think when you put the phrase "four retarded men," the family's absolutely right. When you put out the phrase over and over again, four retarded men or five retarded boys went missing, does it take some of the piss off that urgency? Hey, he's Lavender Sunday. Does it take any of the urgency off of those searchers and whatnot? I don't know. I can't answer for any of them. I don't know. Is it a possibility? Absolutely, it's a possibility. All of these things are possible to happen. The theories. All right, number 3. Could Gary be responsible for the men's deaths? This theory is that Gary Mathias had a complete breakdown somewhere between the store and Plymouth National Forest. And then he just had a complete breakdown. And that he drove him up there. Well, the problem with that is Gary Mathias wasn't showing any signs of any problem on the 23rd, on the 24th, at the game, after the game, in the store. He wasn't in any kind. If he was having that big of a break, it wouldn't have happened just outside of the store. It would have been a long, prolonged, drawn out thing. Now, there were the 4 footprints seen by Hewitt Sr. from that car. But then we have Mathias's shoes in the cabin. Did he make it to the cabin? I don't know. I don't think he had a big schizophrenic break, right? I just don't think he did. Now, if he had made it to that cabin and say that he's the one that took care of Ted for 8 to 13 weeks or 8 weeks, listen to that. he would have been without his medication. And there would have been, especially under that trauma and him going without his medication, the days after that, the 24th, 25th, yeah, he probably would have run into some problems. But would he have had the wherewithal to continue to take care of Ted in the middle of a psychotic break? I don't think he would have. But I don't know because everybody's different. Did it come down to Jackie making it up there, Ted making it up there, and Gary making it up there, and then at some point, Jackie and Gary left to go try to get help? Jackie went this way, Gary went this way, and never made it out? It's possible. It's certainly possible. We know the only person that we know made it there is Ted Weir. The last question. No, it's not. The fourth question. What happened to Gary Mathias? So when I was watching this documentary, it was, I want to say Jack Madruga's sister. Yeah, it was Jack Madruga's sister. Said that their mother owned a bar. And on one night, about a year after this disappearance, the bar was slam-packed full. And the sister got off work, right? And she was behind the bar, and her mother was behind the bar. And she said she looked over, even though it was 3 seats from the end, and that she locked eyes with Gary Mathias. She swears it was him. And that she went to her mother and said, "That's Gary Mathias." And her mother said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yes, I am." And when the mother went in the back to make the phone call, Gary Mathias took off. And then it was also said that Gary Mathias was seen in that area around the Montgomery Ward, around a Waffle House, somewhere else. He'd been seen. And then another person said that in 1979 in that area, that Gary Mathias was hitchhiking. I find that hard to believe. I find all of this hard to believe because Gary Mathias would have to be medicated to, well, I guess he didn't have to be medicated. I guess he didn't have to be, but it sure would have, helped things a lot. So they, when he ran out, nobody could find him when he ran out. She even says in the documentary, if I'm lying, she is just certain that it was him. So what happened to him? Well, we don't know because we can't find him. But that's a lot of area up in there. It's rugged. It could be. Could be. It is. Nobody can say what happened to Gary. I mean, did she see him? It might have been. I don't know. It might have been. That's a lot of area to hike out of when you are not prepared. When all you have is Ted Weir's shoes on that were bigger, but they were leather. And a light coat or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Because you remember last week when we did the DeLove, they took clothes off the dead to stay warm. The living took clothes off the dead. Well, this didn't happen and with these boys. Everybody had their clothes on. So, and then the very last question in this documentary is, what happened to the Yuba County Five? The only person that you can lay this on is Gary Mathias, because he's the only one not found. Was it the town bully that followed the boys 50 miles from Yuma to Chico, California? Would the bully have followed them that far, waited for them to come out of the basketball game, followed them to the store, started a fight, had a fight, had Gary Mathias half dead, drove them around, dropped him off of the bridge, and then made it all the way up to 4,000 feet above sea level, and then scared those boys so badly that they hiked 19 miles up a when I say snow covered, there was a lot of snow on that mountain above 4,000 feet to their deaths. That could be. Who took care of Ted Weir? Somebody took care of him. Somebody showed either there's no way that Jackie Hewitt did not make it there because he was found beyond the cabin, whereas Madruga and Sterling were found before the cabin. So I don't know. I wish I did. Gary may have run away. He might have. He very well might have. But it's been 47 years. And hey, Olivia, 47 years and nothing has ever shown up that could be Gary Mathias. That says something right there. Is he on that mountain? He could very well be on that mountain. Doing these cases that I've done, there was the little boy that went missing. Oh my God, I can't believe I hear his name. Oh shit. The boy that went missing, Father's Day weekend. His dad literally turned his back for like a minute and they turned back around. The little kid couldn't. Dennis. Anyway. All right, so they never found that child's body. But I also learned when I did that research that in the forest, you take all the leaves that fall and all that you can get a half inch of dirt every year. Around a half inch of dirt every single year in a forest with all the decaying, everything. Is Gary Mathias's remains under, let's count, 47, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, fine. Night, girl, I got to go to in a minute. So, what do y'all think? Because I don't know what to think. And if y'all need to watch this, let me find that. Let me find it. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly. If y'all want to watch that and do some, I always do this because I know I got a couple of new people here. I always tell you what I'm going to do a week before I do it at the very least, so that you can do your own research and you can look into it. And I usually float the link around. I didn't do it this week, but it's so that y'all know what we're going to do, and y'all can do your own research if you have time, if you're interested. And then when we meet back here on a Saturday night, you kind of know what's going on and whatnot. So you can always come up on the panel. So that's what I usually do. That's why you're always going to know a week ahead of time what I'm doing. Thank you, Cassandra. And let me see, Netflix. I can find this. Hold on. I wrote it down. If y'all can see the notes, I'm surrounded by notes like Gary Mathias off medication. Okay. No, that's what it is. I am like Gary Mathias. Yuba County Five Netflix. All right. Here we go. The series is called Files of the Unexplained. But I think if you go over to Netflix and type in Yuba County 5, it'll pop up. But the name of the actual show that's got multiple documentaries in it is called Files of the Unexplained. Watch that show. Watch that because it does kind of put it in a perspective. And one, their graphics are much better than mine. And the thing is with Netflix is they don't let you do a screenshot of their stuff. Bastards. So even as stupid as I am, I'm like, well, I'll be able to take a picture of their graphics with my phone. It didn't work. And they're probably on other places on YouTube that show this. I probably could have lifted up some better graphics, but come on, I'm not gonna do that. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to cheat. So that's the name of it. Files of the Unexplained. That's not what I said. Yeah, Files of the Unexplained. And it's there, and it's very interesting. Thank you, Mint Mama. God, she is the best ever. Don't tell me that's the story, because I will effing go over there and I will F you Netflix and I will screenshot anything I want. Yeah. So if Does anybody have Emily's way? Well, Suzanne, I was on Monjero for a long time. And then, as we know, I had a very unfortunate medical emergency this summer. And when I had that very unfortunate medical emergency, we found some issues here in my mouth. And so when they had to go look at the issues for the mouth, there was really nothing they could do except take it. Everything was damaged beyond belief from this thing. They took the thing out and the thing. So they did that on March 10th. So all these are new. Well, it's one piece that's new. And I haven't been able to eat solid foods a lot since March 10th. So yeah, I probably am. And plus I'm not on the Monjero anymore because my insurance, from my unfortunate medical emergency that was $34,000, my insurance said, sure, we'll pay for the Monjero till the end of the year. Now I'm not on anymore anyway. But yes, thank you for noticing. So I don't know what y'all think about this. There aren't a whole lot of options beyond something supernatural that could have done it. That could have had it done. All the bones were kind of scattered around, the ones that were. Ted Weir lived possibly 13 weeks of the 14 weeks that they were missing. He died a horrific death that nobody deserves. Where's Gary Mathias? Could Gary Mathias have snapped between bear market and here? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know though. Could it be? See, it could be something completely supernatural. Everybody's kind of sad. Cassandra, they do, and I think maybe that's because number one, he's not been found, and number two, out of all of them, his criminal activity and his predisposition to violence was a lot more than the rest of them. When I read their bios, Gary had 3.5 pages of bios that I just skimmed through. The other boys they just didn't get in a lot of trouble. So, it's the schizophrenia. It's he wasn't found. It's a lot of stuff that does heap it on top of Gary Mathias' shoulders. It does. Is it? I don't know. I mean, like I said, when Jack Madruga crossed that bridge, he knew, as well as the other ones, I'm sure, because you remember Gary Mathias did not have a disability, an intellectual disability. He had a mental disability, mental illness. So, also, let's bear with me on this. Gary Mathias, had he made it to that cabin with Ted, Gary Mathias would have known to turn the propane on. What a gas, like when the house, like you have a gas furnace for a house and there's big, huge tanks. That's how much propane was up there. All of these other parts of there was food all over that joint that didn't need any kind of special anything. So Mathias would have known, hell, let me turn this damn propane on. Let me go get this food. We have snow all around us. We can hydrate it again. Let's cook it. We can change our clothes. Gary Mathias would have known that. Jack Madruga probably would have known that. The fact that nothing was touched except for 20 ready-to-eat meals that he laid there 8 to 13 of the 14 weeks, it makes me think maybe that Gary Mathias didn't make it up there because that shit would have been rolling. If Gary Mathias wouldn't have sat there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, 8 to 13 weeks, and not cook the food, turn on the propane, he didn't have that mentality where, oh my God, I'm stealing. We can't steal things. That's what the other boys had. It's just so horrible. Maybe. We do. I love game nights. They were mentally challenged individuals. They probably didn't know anything about They didn't, but Gary would have. See, Gary Mathias would have, because he wasn't intellectually challenged. So he would have known to let's turn up this damn, propane. Also, also look, it takes a very short time to become like frostbitten, a very short amount of time in the right conditions. So Ted Weir's shoes were not there. Did he lose them on the way, or did Gary Mathias take them off of him and try to go get help? Because as we know, Gary Mathias' shoes were in that cabin. I don't know. I just don't know. This is why I do these every Saturday night, because I don't know what happened. Yeah, exactly. It takes a short amount of time. These boys were hiking for a long, long, long way, 11 to 19 miles to get to that place. I don't know. This is one that I lay before y'all humbly and say, I don't know what happened. I don't know what you think happened. If you want to tell me in the comment section, I would like to know. I probably should have thrown a link up, but I got to go make some eggs right now and funk the house up with the egg smell. So this has been the Yuba County 5 Saturday Night Mystery Club presentation. I don't know if, again, every week I say this, and to my 300 to 400 people that watch this later, happy Easter. Thank y'all. I know you're there. I watch you all week. Pump me up a little bit. I do appreciate you very much. But yeah, I don't know. What I always encourage is, listen, if y'all want to do this on your own and want to come on or whatever, and we revisit something, let's do it. I'm up for it. I love you too. I love you, Mama. I love you. So next week, Catherine has Tech Week, which means that she has to be there every night. They have to run through their play for a whole week. So she's not going to be here for conspiracy night. I told her I would possibly postpone that. If I do, because she's been really waiting on that. So I'm probably going to do it. She's my daughter. I love her. I might do it. If I come up with something else for next week, though, I will post it by tomorrow. So you will know what it is. You can check it out before I do. I usually throw the link out. Come up and we'll talk about it. You don't have to cam up. You don't have to do anything like that. Is there anything? I got all this housekeeping, right? I know I appreciate y'all for coming. I really do. It's before Easter. I know y'all are working hard. I know that an hour and a half or more is a lot to do on a Saturday night or any kind of week. That you come and spend it with me. I appreciate you more than you know. All my moderators, I love y'all so much. All of the super chats, love you. I really do. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate all of your time. And thank you. I really appreciate it. Y'all just don't know. Me and Catherine talk about it a lot during the week. And how I just have found my niche here and my niche. And I'm happy doing this. And so the fact that y'all want to come along for the ride is icing on the cake, actually. All right, so happy Easter, everybody. By tomorrow, I will put up another, I'll put up whatever next week's show will be about. Probably won't be the conspiracies. I'll probably wait. So, but it'll be up by tomorrow. All right, so I love y'all. I really do love you very much. I will see you next week, unless I see you before. And y'all be safe. There's some storms out there, so be safe. And I'll see y'all next week. Do have a happy Easter. Love you. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.